So in this video today, we're going to be getting through lots and lots of attempted fixes. We've got USBs, we've got broadband, we've got cameras, we've got gauges, we've got catches, we've got leaks, we've got it all going on. So sit back and hopefully enjoy the next hour, relaxing, watching this video. Let's get started. Hello there, my mate Vince here. Check it out, we're on a boat, but not the boat that we were on before. Brian's got himself another boat. This is a Princess Riviera. I think he said it was a 286. He's just off doing something at the moment. And there's little niggly jobs that need doing. So I thought I'd bring the camera along and film them for you. So I'm just going to show you one of the things we're going to work on to begin with. Just pop down here. I'll show you around the boat later. My battery's a little bit flat. I need to charge it up. But basically, the reason I've pulled out the camera now, we did come here to do one job. But then you get a bit sidetracked. And annoyingly, I've just fixed something and I wish I had it on camera. So basically, with this one here, there's something weird going on here. This is like a little control unit, tells you how much charge is in the batteries, fresh water level, how much water you have in the storage for the fresh water for the sinks and stuff like that. Now, look at this. If I hit on battery charger here, I mean, to begin with, we haven't got a red light coming on. And then if I put on water pump here, this red light's not working. This gauge here doesn't seem to be working properly, but it was wiggling all over the place. When I was doing this, this was coming and going. Let's just turn that off. So that's been fixed by just cleaning up a fuse at the back. But look up here, like it's showing the batteries appear to be full, but when I do this switch here, it's showing around 8 volts. So I'm not sure if that's quite correct or not. It should be 12 volts, shouldn't it? Now, when I had a look in the back of here, there seems to be quite a bit of corrosion. And that's interesting because if you watch my video where I did the TV, this is the same boat that the TV came off and there was corrosion in that TV. So obviously water has got in somewhere at some time. So yeah, I'm just going to be filming different things. Let me just show you this on the outside. This is it downstairs. It's a bit of a mess at the moment because he hasn't had it very long and stuff needs doing to it. Look at this is all looking very fancy. Beforehand he had to stick something to the steering wheel to let him know where the rudder was, but this is all built in here, you see. So when you turn it on, that goes in the middle there, and then you can see where your rudder is. So it's quite nice. Let me show you it from the outside. Here it is. Nice things like the anchor on this one is all electric. You know, you do that from the inside of the boat rather than having to release it yourself. It's nice looking. And the portholes, remember we did the portholes on his old boat, but look at these ones, they just look, everything just looks better quality. Right, let's get started on the fixing. Right, so this is the back of it here, and what I did is there's a little fuse that goes from this unit here into here, and there was just a little bit of corrosion just on the side of the contact, not the fuse but the actual contact itself, just a little bit tarnished. I just had to scrape it with the screwdriver. Why the light isn't working, let's have a little look. So it's the second light down, so there's LEDs down here, torch, it's very dark in here. So it's the second light down, so these are the LEDs here. So I'd have to make sure that this wire here is connected, which it is. Where does it go? So it goes up into here. Oh, there we go. Well, that's why the LED's not working. That's come out off this thing here, so that needs to be soldered onto here. I don't think Brian's gonna have the soldering iron. There's only gonna be so much done today. We didn't come here to do any work. I just wanted to he just wanted to show me the boat. But look in here, can you see the corrosion on this? I'm gonna call it a bus bar, but you see this thing going down here, this strip where all the negatives are connected to. Is fine up the top, but look at the corrosion on the bottom. Yeah, can you see the green, the verdigris there? So that must be a copper strip that has got pretty badly oxidized because it's black all over, but that bit there is corroded. So I'm hoping that maybe the terminals are not making a good connection. And if you have a look here, you see basically this thing here that's not giving the right reading, where it's saying like 6 or 7 volts. Well, look, one of the wires goes off to here and it goes onto this black wire. This black wire works its way down, and guess where it goes to? One of the bottom terminals there. So I'm going to undo those. I'm basically just going to undo these ones here, take a picture,
and then, well, as long as they all go back on, it's going to be fine. And I'm going to scrape it all with a screwdriver. But if I had sandpaper, but I'm just going to do that. And let's see now if the connection's better. Will it suddenly start reading 12 volts there? Will it read 240 volts here? Because maybe there's a wire going from here to that negative block as well. I'm not sure if that's going to be completely isolated, because maybe although this is reading 240 volts, it might still be on like a 12 volt supply, you know, feeding that there. I'm not too sure. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. So I'll just scrape up this, and by cleaning up that, you might find that it's going to fix a load of issues. It is possible if that's the main negative rail. And of course, shore power has been disconnected from here, and also the batteries have been turned off in here as well. Now ideally the LED would need to be soldered on to that side of the fuse block there, but I haven't got a soldering iron with me. So what I'm going to do is I've just slackened off the screw terminal just there, and I'm just placing, can you see the red wire just placed in there? Because that also goes to that side of the fuse connection there. So I'm just going to do up that screw, hopefully then the LED will work again. Right, so that's it there, and you can see the difference between a little bit that I've scraped and the existing. The weird thing is, the actual connections themselves, you know, where the screw terminal goes onto it, was not too bad. The corrosion was like all around the edge of it. I think they would have still been making a pretty good connection. But anyway, I'm going to clean that one and the one above it. And again, if you look at these ones, they are oxidized. You can see they're black, but they're not awful. You know, look at that one there. Bit of blue on it. Not sure whether that would cause a problem. You know, it might do, because the thing is, it's reading wrong resistances, isn't it? It's, you know, there is a connection there, but it's reading incorrectly, so it might fix it. Right, I just went to get continuity between here and the one that I'm cleaning now, which is this one here, and it wasn't coming up. If I press really hard, it was coming up here, but I had to press really hard on this thing here. And if you have a look, can you see the copper here has just gone to black? It's not copper anymore. So I'm going to strip a little bit back there onto, well, hopefully it will be fresh copper here. I'm hoping it's just oxidized and the water hasn't traveled down any of the cable. There we go. So that was the old one, and just stripped it back a few mil, and look at that now, complete color difference. So that's going to be making a nicer contact. Right, so I've cleaned up the bottom two ones there. They're the worst ones. Really, the other three need doing, but we're not going to do that right now. We're going to put power back on now, shore power and also battery power. Let's see now if it's reading any different on this voltage little meter up here. Right, okay, so now 1 second here, so I'll go to battery charger, cabin lights, let's go to water pump. Right, so that's still the same, so that hasn't changed, that might be 40. Let's see what's happening here. No, still reading the same. I wonder, could it be an actual fault here with the, sorry, the lights are in the way. No, so that's exactly the same, and this is exactly the same here as well. So they haven't changed the reading at all. Interesting. Well, a little bit of progress has been made. The red light's working here now. We're not sure what's going on here. That's a shame. I thought that would have fixed that, because it would have been a bad contact. Didn't realise that Brian has got some isopropyl alcohol. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of that in the switch, because if the switch contacts were dirty, maybe then it isn't put in. There might be, you know, extra resistance in that switch. So we've just got a lid off IPA now, and we're just going to try to just get some of that down into the switch, because if there's a bit of corrosion in there, it could be the contacts in there that are a bit tarnished. And we'll give it a good wiggle as well, and that might clean it up. No, it's still the same. Oh, how disappointing. I mean, maybe it's just a gauge that's gone. I think the gauges are faulty, because they're both not reading the correct, and this is completely separate. This is 240 volts, mains coming in, this is 12 volts. Now on this side here, when we put the meter on here, it does read near enough 12 volts when Brian does the switch, yet it's still only reading at the front here, like 8 volts. And it's kind of weird because it stops dead at 8 volts. So I think the gauge itself is faulty, because watch this. Right, I'm up here now on the gauge with the leads, and you can see the meter there. If I use my hand on here, can you see? Watch it go to near enough 12 volts. Right, so we've got 11.2 volts that side. And if I go the other way, we've got 11.2 volts that side. And I think that's probably, I'm thinking that's probably quite normal. So I think it's the gauge itself which is playing up, because when we do that, we're only getting 8 volts. So I think unfortunately it's a faulty gauge. Right, it's a few days later now and we're back on the boat again, so we're going to have a look at the gauges in just a minute. I think I might try to take them apart, see if we can get the old gauges working. Come down here today, we noticed that this here is full of water. You see it in there, this little light, when you give it a wiggle. I don't know if that's coming across, but it's that's full of water, so that needs to be looked at. Also, he's got himself mobile broadband, so the problem with here is that if you use like a hotspot, if there's a group here, then if they're watching something on Netflix and then one of them goes to the toilet, the one with the phone, then you lose your internet. As well as that, he wouldn't mind fitting a couple of little cameras, and the hotspot's no good for the cameras because it's only going to work when your phone is nearby. So he's bought himself a mobile broadband router, as we call it here in the UK, or router if you're from other parts of the world. So we'll be setting that up. I think he pays £3 a month, and it's with 3 network, and that's unlimited data. So, sorry, £3 a week, so £12 a month, unlimited data, so it's not too bad, is it? Right, this is it here, 5G router. This is going to live behind the TV up there. The SIM card's already been installed, that was done in the shop, it goes just here, and all the details of the router, like the SSID and the password and stuff, are just underneath this plug here. So, it is a nice looking thing. It's got a load of lights at the front here, so we're just going to plug it in, let it do its thing for a good half an hour, 45 minutes, while we'll get on with something else, and then we'll see if it's synced itself up. We already know that the 3 signal in this marina is quite good, so for £3 a week I think it's probably worth having permanent internet down here where you don't have to worry about connecting hotspots. So when it's all set up, we're going to hide it behind here, but just for the time being we'll just leave it here. There is a light on at the moment, it's just plugged in over there. It's quite nice as well because it gives you the option to have a couple of Ethernet ports, so a wired connection, which is nice. Right, so we're just outside the boat now. We're just trying to work out where this leak could be coming from. Now, Brian has changed these over because these were, he thought these were leaking. These are like solar, or they weren't working or something. These are like solar little fans. And I think you have one to bring air in and one to bring air out, something like that. Now, this area here, this was full of water on the inside. I thought it was condensation, but the very fact that the light is full of water means that there's something coming in from somewhere. But look, there's nothing here, unless, because the light's around about here. I can't see anything where it could be coming down from, because I don't think it's coming down from the window, and there doesn't seem to be anything else, unless of course that is leaking there. So yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to have to take off the headlining on that area there, because there's a lot of water build-up and the headlining is sagging a little bit. So this cover here was up here, and it was it was like a little swimming pool on top of it. When you took it off here, a load of water splattered out, and you can see that this bit looks like it's bowed down, and in fact you can see that there's a drip of water just here now, and there's a bit of mould up there. So something is not right on this side over here. Yeah, I think we're going to have to undo some of the headlining to see what's happening. And then, if it's dry from that light going up that way, then we might know it's something. See, it could be from the solar vent. It might be all coming from that solar vent there in the corner. I don't think we're going to know until we take some of that off. Now looking here, these just pull out, and then behind them, just to the left hand side or the right hand side, there's a tiny little Phillips screw. Can you see there and there? So at least you can get these headlining down. Right, so the background was, Brian just said that originally, before he replaced these, there was actually water coming down here. In fact, you can see discoloration in this corner here. Since he's done that, this is now dry, but maybe there is still a slight leak coming from there, because what he said is, if you put your finger up here, it's dry, but this side here is wet, very wet. You can actually see a drip coming off that there now. So I think before we take the roof lining down, we're going to just take off the solar vent up on the deck to see what's happening there. So this is a solar vent here, just going to take it off and see. It might become more obvious from here. So does one put air in and one puts air out? Yeah. Oh, that is easy, isn't it? What, does this feel wet here?
You see the seals that come with it. It comes with a really...
1 second now. See, that feels, I think that feels dry. What do you think?
It does, yeah.
Does it? But it is wet from here on, inwards. It doesn't, that's sop in there, isn't it? But yet it's not, it's dry up here.
Yeah.
This here is dry.
Yeah, and just
And it's wet there.
And it could have run down into the lake.
Yeah, because of the...
with some very heavy rain.
yeah. And maybe the boat, the angle of the boat or something, if there's more weight on that side.
Maybe.
What's on the other side
Comes
here?
a really thick seal that's there. But maybe I should have put silicone around here as well, you know.
This is this black rubber that's doing the sealing.
Yeah, that seals it, and there's another seal. So basically, if I open it up, so I can lift it up.
Oh,
There's
right,
a
okay.
seal there, so there's that, and then that goes on top of it.
Right, Brian thinks that it could be this bit here, and I think he's right, because look, basically, this rubber bit here is the thing that does the sealing. You know, you screw down through it, and this rubber is quite soft, kind of like foam, really. That's the thing that's getting crushed to take out the imperfections, because obviously there is imperfections around here. But check this out, that goes there, and if you take this off and put it here, can you see that it's this sits on top of the rubber, and yet when you put this on here, I think it's this that's stopping this from being properly pushed down on here. So what Brian said is, why don't we just take this out and then see if it then seals, because it definitely looks like the water's gathering here. It's coming from here because it's dry here and wet here. It must be here. So I think when you remove this, you've got a chance for this to crush down. Yeah, in fact, now listen, it drops down more. Let's pop the seal back on and see if it's see if it drops down then. Right, let's see now. I mean, to be fair, it still does, but maybe it's not pulling in enough. I reckon maybe that's the answer there. If not, a big bead of silicone around there. Maybe even a bead of silicone might be a good idea, even with the rubber. But the rubber should be doing the sealing. I think we're going to take that off there and then see if that seals.
So we just need to put this solar vent back on now, and hopefully it will pull in towards the boat more. Once we've done that, we will do the other solar vent as well, take off that white ring. Hopefully then they might seal. I'm going to give a shout out to them, my mate Vince Massive. The members this month are kitdigital.com, Kip Hakes, Max Rokotansky, Chris Seal, Felipe at MrKeebs.com, DJ VG, Pigsy, Anthony Dean, Bazza2, Russ Melanson, Gaspar Heller, Rickard Bergland, and Soul Reaver 555. Many thanks to each and every one of you.
Thing is, that is going to stop the rubber from being pulled down a little bit, isn't it? Yeah, because that's not, it can't make the seal properly there because that's forcing that up here.
Yes, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe we would go without them.
That's right.
So one spins one way and one spins the other way because you're bringing air in and out.
It actually comes with two fans, so you replace the little propellers on them.
Yeah.
So one's anti-clockwise and one's clockwise, so it gives a circulation of air between the two.
Ah, so they're both spinning the same way because it's the same unit. It's just that these blades here are angled differently for different sides.
Yeah.
Ah, that's clever. So you have to make sure you put the right ones, one in and one out.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
This has got a face there, arrow has got a face there, that's what I was looking at.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. It's quite good that they're solar.
It's very good, mate.
But saying they're not spinning today though, so there's not enough light for them to spin
No.
now. Anyway, we might get a container of water or something, see if we can throw it on, and then see if any water comes through. Now this is weird. So basically, it was completely stationary. I gave it a little spin to see how free it was, and now it's not stopping. So it's like it needs to be kick-started. Same with this side here. Look, watch this. It's not spinning. Yeah, not spinning. Give it a spin. I don't know if that's the right way. And now it's off. So well, I suppose that would just keep going forever now. That's interesting. You think it would have started up by itself, unless it needs more sun to start up. Look at that. That's not from me just doing it. That's going now on the solar. Right, it doesn't really displace much here, but look, this one here, that doesn't stick up. You see it falls down. So that one's bringing air into the cabin. And this one is taking air out, because if I do that here now, can you see it stays up there? Yeah, so it looks like you have to give them a little spin to get them going. Right, so Brian's going to go up now and he's going to throw a bucket of water. Well, not throw, he's just going to gently pour it around the vent to see if anything comes in. So basically, these ones here, it looks like there's a battery there and there's a little switch. I think the idea is that in the daytime, it's working off solar and it charges up the battery, and then at night time it can keep on spinning even when the sun goes down because it's got the battery backup. Apparently they're only £1 more to have the battery backup. Oh, are you pouring it now? Right,
Which one are you doing?
the one that was leaking, the one,
Okay.
the driver's side.
Okay. I'm pouring the water now.
Well, I can't see, I can hear it. Let me put my finger up here. No, Brian, I can't feel anything.
Wow, I've just poured a whole bucket of water straight around it and on top of it as well.
Yeah. Hold on. Do you know what, Brian? I can see a few droplets above the fan, but I don't know if they were there beforehand. Would it be worth getting one more bucket just to see?
Yeah.
Right, it's pouring another one now. I just want to see if there's any more droplets forming. Oh yeah, Brian. Some came through there, yeah.
I was being brutal though.
You were, okay, yeah. That might have come through the actual vent rather than the, you know, rather than coming through on the deck. It might have come through like the main holes where the air comes out.
That's I think what's happened.
Yeah, okay. It wasn't a huge amount.
But I was literally pouring it like it would never rain that heavy.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Should we try the other one?
Yeah, why not? Okay, I'm ready. I'm on the other one. Yeah, a little bit came through, but again, I think it's because you're doing it too heavy.
I am doing it too heavy. One or two, I'll do it slowly, I'll try the rain.
Or maybe do it on the windscreen and let it drip down naturally.
That's it, it's all gone now.
Yeah, no, I think that one's fine, and this one feels dry all the way around the edge.
So it's going to get in where it vents in really, really extreme conditions, isn't it?
Oh well, yeah. If a massive wave came over, then yeah, it would get in through the vents, but not with normal rain. I think that's sorted. Right, well, I think we're going to leave that where it is there because I think it is probably to do with that seal. It all seems to be coming from that side there. We'll say it's fixed for the moment, but we'll know in the next week or so because it's going to be raining a lot this week. So if it keeps filling with water, then we'll know. We have to take off that light now just to get rid of the swimming pool in there.
This is where I'll get soaking wet.
That's what I'm thinking. Do you want a towel?
No, I'm alright, mate. I just got the door to lose these little screws.
I'll turn it off. Oh, you little LEDs. Okay, let's have a look here. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's deep. Yeah. Well, there we go. I'm working again. Now, because the headlining's sag quite bad here because it's wet, he's going to get a washer and basically just, you can still see there's water coming through. He's going to just put it up here with a washer, and hopefully then it might actually dry if it pulls it up. You never know over the next, if it stopped leaking over there, then when it dries, it might dry in a more upwards position. And then what he can do is he can buy one of these popper things. Because what this is, there's just that little bit of fabric that goes over it, so you can sleep, so the light's not shining through. The router over here looks like it might well be doing what it needs to do. So we'll look at that in a minute. Now, these are little handles here that you can lift up, for example, to get to the engines. I'll show you that before I leave today. But look at this one here. Can you see that it's, as you go past it, it's like your feet want to hit that up because it's been bent. You can see that's not lying flush. That's nice and flush. That one's not lying flush. So that one's not lying flush. Look how much is sticking up. Well, this one's completely flush. So let's just sort that out.
Well, this video is a little bit longer than I thought it would be, so I'm just skipping through this bit. There's not really much to see. I use some pliers to kind of try to bend it back into shape, but then Brian gets a washer, wedges it in there, puts some force down on it, and that seems to do the trick. So let me just show you it lying nice and flat. God, miracle, look at that. Look at that. It's flat. Best job of the day.
This boat has 2 engines. What are they, V8s?
2 5 litre V8s.
Right. Oh, it's got a gas strut as well.
Yeah.
Look at them. Right, talk me through what we got here, Brian. Are they Volvo?
Yeah, the Volvo Penta 5 litre V8s.
Nice. So, what have we, let's jump down.
Right, one of them actually heats the water for a calorifier, if I said that right.
Okay.
So basically when the engine's running, it uses the water for the engine to heat the primary in the coil.
Right.
And that, which will give you hot water on the boat.
For your shower and stuff?
For the shower.
Yeah.
For your washing your dishes.
Okay, so in that's like a hot water cylinder at home, there's a coil in that.
That's right.
So it keeps the water clean. The dirty water from here just goes inside the coil.
That's it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the secondary side comes out through the hot, obviously.
Yeah, sure. What's this for? Power steering?
steering.
Ah.
Power steering.
So hold on. So it's only the one. Yeah, so although they're 2 separate engines, there's only the one power steering. So if one engine failed, if this engine failed, you could still probably get home, but you wouldn't have power steering.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah, yeah.
sure, Vince.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Right,
there
okay.
were, I thought there were points and plugs on it, but they actually are electronic ignition. I had a look.
Oh, it is electronic ignition.
For 1990s technology.
Right, okay.
Um,
Fuel injection?
no, they're carb.
Oh, these are the carbs here?
Yeah, standard carbs are very easy to work on. Loads of space around them.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
One of the carburetors been renewed.
Oh, this one here because it's not painted red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else is original, but they both run really nice. I can't run them now because they've both been winterised.
So there's no water in there.
So we can't run them
And
until the spring.
Is this the exhaust
Yeah,
manifold?
that's where it draws the raw water in.
Oh.
From the Thames.
Yeah.
And then it comes in, cools the engine, goes out the other side. And
Sure.
on this one, the
So
water pumps are on the crankshaft pulley down there. So you don't have to take the boat out of the water to renew the impellers.
Ah, right,
Which
okay.
just makes life a bit easier.
Yeah, yeah. And that's just starter motor there, is it?
No, that's
that
the
your-
alternator.
Oh, the alternator. Sorry,
Yeah,
the
it's the
alternator. Yeah,
alternator.
yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah,
It
yeah,
charges
yeah.
the batteries
Oh, I
as the
should know
engine's
that.
run.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Starter motor is going to be a really awkward place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And where's the exhaust come out then? Where's the
It goes out through the water, through these risers they're called. Indirectly, the exhaust fumes go out. So when the engines are running, you can see it all bubbling out the back.
through here?
Yeah.
Ah, right, okay.
So they
Yeah,
They get hot.
yeah. And it's a V, so four cylinders here, 4 cylinders here in a V.
V8s, two massive
Yeah.
V8s.
And you mentioned these are air filter, but they're not really an air filter. There's something.
Yeah, they're called. They've got a flame trap inside it
Right.
to stop it ever igniting.
Right. Okay. Sure. I wonder. So you don't think it's paper? Do you swap them? Have you
No,
looked in there yet?
You never clean them.
You never. Right. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
boat.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's different.
And this is your coil, your distributor.
That's the distributor, and there's the coil. In fact,
Yeah.
the guy who serviced it,
Yeah.
he told me these engines are 3.50 cubic inch American engines off a Chevy.
Ah.
And
Right.
a very
Okay.
popular engine.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what he
Yeah.
told
Yeah.
me.
Ah. Lovely.
It's got the firing order on the inlet manifold there. But basically,
Oh, it has. Yeah.
Chevy-
Firing. 134. Yeah, that's very good, isn't it? And they're all labelled up here 3, 5. So yeah, nice and easy to work with. And you engine oil fill, so you fill the oil. There's two fillers on each of them.
Yeah. There's one.
Yeah.
There's 2 fillers on one. Oh yeah, there is on both of them.
Yeah. Nice, and everything's nice and easy to get to, isn't it?
It is on these. They're much easier than the
Yeah.
last one.
So where are your spark plugs?
right.
They're not
easier
easy.
to get to. They're the only things that are hard to get
They're
to.
under here somewhere. Oh, they're down here.
Underneath the risers.
Okay. Oh, I see them. Yes. Yeah. Sure. You haven't actually looked. You done it. They go in at the side to the side, do they?
Yeah,
Or
they'll go in the side banks
Side,
at an
yeah.
angle, like the Rover V8.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
V8s are roughly the same, aren't they?
Yeah. Very nice. You don't know what that thing there is, do you? That that new looking
I
silvery.
don't know. I was looking at that.
Somebody
I
in the
don't know,
comment
there's one on the
section might
other
be able to
engine as
tell
well.
you. Yeah. That sort of goldy silvery thing just there.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like a. I don't know. I'll be just guessing.
It looks like it's got. Yeah. There's definitely electric going to it. There's another one on that side, isn't there?
I know the carburetors on this work with a bimetallic spring. So when you pull the Morse forward on it, it sets the choke plates. It makes the choke plates close,
Oh, okay.
and it works through this thing here.
Oh, I see.
Just
Yes.
closes the choke on it.
Yeah. Automatic choke.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. But so boxer washers here isn't ideal. It'd be nicer if these were whites, but they can be done at a later stage. So it's going to be metal washer, and we're just going to put a little white cap just to finish it off. Well, let's hold it up for the time being. Maybe it will dry in that position.
Yeah, will it stay up though? Let's say. Yeah, maybe it will. I'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah. It's only a temporary job anyway. Right, let's see if this router's working. Easy, so we don't have to worry about Wi-Fi just yet. Let's plug in an Ethernet cable into the back of the TV here and see if it works via Ethernet. And if it works on Ethernet, at least we know the internet's working, and then we can mess around with the Wi-Fi. And we can do a bit of cable management later. Right, okay, so that's in there now. Ooh, blue network. Was that there before? Let's turn on the TV and see if we have the internet. Right, okay, let's go to Ethernet. So hopefully that should be it. Let's do a network test. Right, well, it says connected to the internet. Let's go to Netflix and see if Netflix is going to work. Well, it appears to be working. I can see the little lights going on over there. Obviously, I can't show you anything because of copyright. But yeah, Netflix seems to be connected to the wired connection. So we're just going to try Wi-Fi now. It's got the password and stuff written underneath. And then if that's working, maybe we could do a quick speed test to see what the speeds are like here. So we've punched them into Brian's phone. You can see all the lights are on now. And we're just going to do a speed test to see what the speed's going to be like. Right, so it's not lightning quick, but it's quick enough. 11 megabits is okay. But it's not amazing. And what's it? Yeah, upload's not great. Yeah, personally, I wouldn't want to be uploading YouTube videos from here, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay for YouTube. So you can see 11 bits down, 1 up. Let's just do one more, just in case. Let's just see if this is any better. I mean, what you could do is you could, move the router to another part of the boat to see if it gets a better reception there, because right now we're using the Ethernet cable for the TV, but you don't have to. You could use wireless. So there is other options. Maybe you would get a better signal elsewhere. Just purely for a bit of science, we're going to hold this right up here now, out here, and now we'll just do a speed test now just to see if it's any better. I bet it is. Oh my God, look at the difference. My word, 10 times quicker. This might be a prime opportunity to fit an external aerial, I wonder. Does this router allow an external aerial? I bet it doesn't. Look at the difference there. So you can see how moving the router can increase speeds massively. So that's 88 down, and it's going to be about 3 up. Yeah, very, very quick. That's unbelievable that it makes so much difference. Look at that. You see the speeds there. From here to here. Yeah, so obviously there's something in this corner here which is, let's try it this side here, just in case. It could be some bit of metal somewhere that's causing it to not be great. Let's give it one more go. That's unbelievable, that, by just holding it up there, that's because it sees the outside world, that's so much better. Yeah, that's going to be the same as the first time. I don't think there's an option here to do an external aerial. Because if you could just put the aerial outside then, you see, and run a cable to it. But it would be an option to get another router where you could do that. Right, just to show you how moving things makes a difference. It was sat there and it was 11 megabits. It was sat there, it was 11 megabits. We put it out there and it was 100 and something, wasn't it? Or 80 or whatever I think the final one was. Look, moved it to here and it's good speeds here. Now, it's not ideal because it is near the sinks and stuff, but maybe the final home could be tucked away under there somewhere. But check out the speed difference. It will mean that we'll have to either use a longer Ethernet cable to get to the TV, or we'll just use Wi-Fi between here and the TV, because Wi-Fi is going to handle that no problem at all. But check this out now. Look at the speed difference. So it just shows you, it really does make a difference where you locate that router. See those speeds there now? It's nearly as good, well, it is as good as when it was out the window. So it shows you there's something at the front of the boat which is blocking the signal. Look at that. Go on, stay at over 100. Yes, we've beaten 100. Upload is still very low, but it's fine. Result. So you can see there, a lot of people would have thought that the internet reception was no good here. Just from moving it, 4 meters from there to here, you can see that you've got 10 times the speed. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, it's going to live there. We're just going to connect the TV up with Wi-Fi now from here. Oh, there we go, Netflix working again, this time wirelessly. So we can remove this Ethernet cable now, that is not needed. So the problem with this TV is that the booster here, even though the booster's on, the terrestrial channels, you know, just the over-the-air channels, are not very good. So maybe that can be looked at another time. Maybe the aerial needs to be looked at. Maybe the contacts are dirty or something like that. But as far as the smart side of this TV is concerned, it's now working. And it's good that there's good internet reception here. 100 megabits. Nobody's going to moan about that. So yeah, very happy with that. Right, just auto-tuning the TV just in case, because it hasn't been retuned since the digital aerial was installed, so just in case it's different frequencies or something like that. Anyway, Brian's just showed me this underneath here. So you've got these things here for the table, because this is where you put your table. And yeah, under here, so basically this boat is more like a sea boat rather than the previous boat he had. Because it's got two engines, so it's more suitable for use in the sea. But there's two sea cocks down here. I'd call them a stopcock, but they're called a sea cock apparently. This one here is to bring in water to allow you to flush the toilet. Right now it's been winterized, so this has been turned off. Oh, it's just tuned itself in, but it's still bad. Let me just put that on mute. I think the aerial needs some work or something. And this one here has been capped off because it's been converted more to like a river boat. So originally toilet would have gone straight through there into the sea, but now look, there's a holding tank that's been fitted here because you don't want it going straight out into the River Thames while someone's going for their nice Sunday morning row and then something not very nice floats past them. So yeah, this is a holding tank, and the idea is one of these pipes will go to the outside like the hull, and then it can be pumped away. This can be emptied out from outside. So yeah, convert it to river use. And because this ceiling's a little bit sagged here as well, we're just opening up this door with a fork underneath it. Again, leave it there for a couple of weeks, see if it dries, and you never know, it might pull it more up rather than drying sagged.
So at long last, I'm back on the gauges. I'm just going to undo the low voltage one to begin with, and I've brought my blue mat with me. I've brought some soldering irons and a few little tools. Let's see if there's a way we can get into this gauge and actually repair it rather than just replace it. But Brian has bought some replacement ones, but they're probably not going to be as good quality as the original equipment that's here. Also, it's always nicer to fix rather than replace.
Look at this for a setup, blue mat and everything. I've got it all going on. Right, I am going to try to get this thing apart. The bezel comes out nice and easy. See, what I'm wondering is, it looks like there's a sort of spring type thing going on down under here, and whether or not corrosion's got in there. It's a shame I haven't got my, look how easy that comes off. I wasn't expecting that. Right, so that's on a little cam type thing. Well, an off-centered like spindle, so it goes around like that. So why are you not moving more? Is there resistance? Ah, look, look, look. It's stuck. I think. Do you know what I didn't bring my eye loop. I can't see. Let me use my phone. I can't see properly in there. What is that? It's furry. It's furry at the bottom. It looks like, unless I'm looking at this wrong, it looks like, you know, when you have iron filings and iron filings stick to something. That's what it looks like. Right, I have to show this to you. That's it, yeah, keep it there, Brian. Brian's got the torch right on it. Oh no, it's going to go out of focus. Hold on. Right, this isn't ideal. Can I just move you just here? Look at all the iron filings. Can you see them all? I'm not sure if this is going to come out in the camera, but we have all iron filings here for some reason, which is really odd, and up the top. I mean, I don't know whether they're, I can't see how they're supposed to be there, but as well as that, there's corrosion on this part here, and that is where the needle, I mean, right now this is stuck. The needle's stuck rock solid. There you go, now it's gone. So I need to clean all around here, because if there's corrosion here, that could be hitting against the needle. But what it is, it's not that, it's the iron filings around the top which is stopping it from going. How I'm going to get rid of the iron, how I'm going to get rid of them, I don't know, because the problem is they're magnetic. Look at this. I wish I could credit myself with this, but this was Brian's idea. So he's got a magnet here,
I've put an iFixit screw bit on it, and now this has become magnetic, so hopefully this will draw the iron filings from here. Let's see. Oh my word, look at that. Look at that, iron filings, amazing. Look at them all. So this is what was stopping it from working. Well, I would have never thought that. Look at that. Loads. So I suppose what it is the iron filings are coming from the magnet in the middle. I don't quite know how these work, but there's a coil. And I suppose the coil gets energized against a magnet or something, and from it going back and forth all the time, maybe it does create. Maybe there is a bit of friction there, and maybe it creates, you know, a bit of dust, like iron filing dust, which then eventually stops it from working. So I think the same problem is going to be on the mains gauge as well. Loads coming off. So I continued to do this for about 45 minutes. I actually found it very relaxing. There's something so nice about putting the magnetic bit in there, and every time you did it, it would pull out some iron filings. In the end, a huge amount of iron filings came out, but the magnet goes right back into the actual the back of the gauge, so I had to use some longer screwdrivers to get in there. But even then, problem is there's just too much iron filings there. But I have made progress. I'm just going to show you it now back on. It's not finished, but I just want to show you it back on to show that the needle is moving more than it did before. Right, unfortunately, I think I might have to take this out completely, and I think in doing that I'm going to break it. There's just so much iron filings. I mean, look at all that I've got out so far. And every time I put this in, there's more and more. But look, we are making progress, because now I'm just going to get Brian to hold the camera. This is only 12 volts, so I'm okay to do this with my hands. Right, if I go here and here, watch this, when I do the switch, can you see it's now, I don't know if you can see that in the camera or not, but it is moving, and I've got my multimeter, it's reading 11.2 volts, so if we come right the way in, you can see that it is good. So right now you think it's fixed, but if I keep on doing it, then it will kind of seize up again, because I think every time it's moving, it's just getting friction from the iron filings. In fact, now, can you see it's getting lower? We're now just, oh no, it's back to 11 again. But if we do it at this angle, I mean, to be fair, it seems to be working quite well now, but it's still full of iron filings, so I just don't think it's going to be a reliable fix. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to call it a day. This is now no longer moving smoothly, because I was trying to bend this around to make it center more, and now for some reason it's like the pivot's gone. Yeah. Also, I can see a slight bit of wire hanging out from this middle one here, and I think that probably goes through the hole and solders onto part of the coil. So yeah, I'm going to call it a day on here. But it's interesting that you can actually take it out if you unsolder that wire there, and if you were to use a screwdriver in this bit here and the same bit around here, you can actually pull it out. But it's still very hard to get to the iron filings, because the iron filings goes right the way down. So really, I suppose it's just reached the end of its life. And you can see how much wear it's had. I mean, look at the amount of iron filings we have here. An absolutely huge amount. That's all iron filings there. So yeah, I'm going to take out the 240 volt one just to verify it's the same thing. I know it's going to be the same thing. Right, let's see if this is the same as the other one. I bet it is. And if it's the same on this boat, you know it's going to be the same on probably all the other boats of this age. Yep, iron filings. And again, you can see it sticking. Yeah, all in here. Isn't that really interesting? So all in here, let me try to zoom in. Hopefully you can see them all there on the top. Nice big furry, looks like a haircut. And underneath as well, look at that, you can see all the grey ones there. Absolutely covered. Yeah, so they are repairable. It's just that it takes a huge amount of work. Now that I've done the other one, I feel confident, I think, of taking this one out, because what I would do is I would unsolder that one there, and then I would basically lift
lift it out from these bits. It's just that Brian's got 2 gauges, and then the gauges are not going to match up in size because they're a slightly different size and also design as well. So I think we're just going to go with the 2 new ones. I'm sure they're not as good quality as this. What we have noticed is that these ones seem pretty solid. When you move around, you know, there's a bit of movement here. On the other ones, there seems to be a lot of movement. Now, if you were in the sea, I suppose you would want these as stable as could be. Realistically, is it critical? No. It's measuring 240 volts and 12 volts. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think it's going to be critical anyway, even if that needle is moving around a bit. But for me, the most interesting thing is finding what the fault is, even more than the repair. And yeah, I would have never expected that it would be iron filings. So I think that's quite an interesting one. Well, that is a shame about the gauges, but still on to the next job. The next job we have is a USB socket here, which is not working. There's 2 ports and they're not outputting anything. And then every time you give them a little wiggle, the blue light comes and goes. So I think it's going to be a cold solder joint on the inside, which is okay because I brought my soldering iron with me. I am prepared. So let's take this out, get it over to the mat and see if we can find out where the cold solder joint is. Again, I suppose it's just something that you buy rather than try and fix it. It's all sealed again. Ah, things are just not repairable. Yay, did you hear that click? Here we go. Now, that's out. Would be nice if we could fix this. There we are. Right, now, what we got going on here? Well, I can't see anything obvious. This doesn't seem to be wiggling all over the place, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reflow the joints here, and then hopefully that might be enough. I presume there's a cold solder joint. It's just that right now, with this light and my eyes, I can't see that. So all I'm going to do is apply a little bit of heat from the soldering iron and reflow each of the joints, and just add a fresh bit of solder to each joint as well. And then if it is a cold solder joint, it should be fixed. If we think about it, it's not completely dead. The light's coming and going when you're wiggling it. So it says to me it must be a cold solder joint. It can't really be anything else. So yeah, I do that, and then I just remelt the plastic back together. You know, where I used a hammer to the screwdriver to force the back bit off, I just remelt it back on. If I had glue with me, I would have glued it and then remelted it, but I've remelted the plastic all the way around, so it's not going to go anywhere. When you're inserting USBs into it, there's not a tremendous amount of force. There can be a bit of force because everybody, as you know, you always have to put a USB in the wrong way. It's just a given. But even then, generally people don't force it in with all their strength, so there shouldn't be a lot of pressure going on the back part of this thing here. So yeah, let's just pop it back in and see if we have a steady blue light now when we wiggle it around the place, and if we have power out of it. Right, it's working. So we're in that one there. We're in the 5 volt 2 amp one, and there it is there. And check it out, the picture's nice and clear. Brian's been busy down here setting up. There's all sorts going on. He's got Amundsen Echoes over here. He's got another camera set up there. But look, that's it. You can see the boat here now. There we go. So that's a live feed there. Brian's just going up now. There he is. It's good, isn't it? It's quite a clear. It's quite a clear picture as well. Okay, so now we're going to fit the 2 new gauges into the panel mount, the 12 volt one and also the 240 volt one. This next part of the video, the audio's crackly, only for about 10 seconds or so, and then it settles down again, so apologies about that. Right, so this is the problem. The new gauges here, and you can see the back are much bigger than this one here. But we've got a top of a can, which is perfect there, because it's a bit hard to kind of mark around this. But if we get the can, if we do it that size there, that's going to be good. And if we transfer that onto here, now we can't use a hole saw because there's a hole, there's already a hole here. But look, if we put it like that, then that should be pretty good, and it should also cover up the existing holes. So what we're going to use is we're going to do some drill. We're going to drill in different bits, and then we've got a file, and we've got a little sort of a hacksaw type thing, one of these things. So I think between everything we should be okay. The drill and these, we should be able to do it. Right, so we marked it up on the inside here thinking it'd be easiest to drill down, but look, when you go through it breaks out on this side. I'm not quite sure what this material is. So what we're going to do is we're going to screw it back into the wall here, and we're going to mark it, and we're going to drill from this side. And at least then, if it breaks out on this side, on the inside, it doesn't matter, because if it was to break out too much, it is going to be seen above here. Right, so that's it drilled all the way around. It's a weird material. It's definitely got some sort of metal sandwiched somewhere in the middle. It seems to be a cross between some sort of metal and bakelite. It's very odd. Anyway, we're going to try now to get this and just to see if we can saw through and go through, but I think that's going to be a little bit on the thick side. Right, that hacksaw thing was a little bit aggressive, so Brian's just going in now and moving a drill like that, and it seems to be breaking through each of them. Right, so that's it there now. Now we're going to use the file to try to make it a little bit rounder, just to neaten it up a bit. Right, so that has now been cut away with the holes drilled. A bit awkward to line up the holes, so what we did is just put a little bit of, not going to like this, but a tiny little bit of spit here, here, on each of them, and then we offered it up here until it looks about right, and then just press down. And when you press down, then it put a tiny dot of spits just on here, obviously water if you've got it, and then we just drew that with the pencil, and it seemed to work, because now if you have a look, that looks that's going to look nice. So we're going to do the same on 240 volt, and then we need to wire it up. Basically wiring it up, I've already got the terminals, you know, these little terminals here, and in the pack here they give you a load of screws that screw into the back, and also screws to clamp it on as well. So those screws will go through here. Hopefully the ring terminals will be big enough for these, and then fingers crossed it should work. Right, so this is the 240 volt one now, so you can see it's connected up there. Luckily I could use the existing ring terminals that were on it. So yeah, we just need to now do the 12 volt one, and I think they're all going to look very nice. Right, we're all done, but some eagle-eye viewers will notice when we were doing that there was a problem. Can you discover what it is? This is the mains voltage one, 0 to 500 volts. Fitted this, and it read 0. I thought, oh, maybe there's a loose wire or something. Measured the back here, and there was 240 volts AC on my meter, yet it's 0 here, so I thought it was a faulty gauge. But then I looked close, and I'll give you a few seconds to see if you can work out what the problem is. So we've got 240 volts AC coming into the boat, shore power, and this gauge here is 0 to 500 volts. But what is it? Look there, it's DC, isn't it? Not AC, that's the DC symbol, yeah? So we have ordered up the correct one. It was only £7 next day delivery on Amazon Prime, so it's going to be here, you know, tomorrow. And I've just put the existing gauge back into it for the time being, but it gets better than that. Check out this one here. This is the 12 volt DC one, the battery one, yeah. And weirdly, it is working. But look at that symbol there. That's not DC, is it? That's AC. So yes, we managed to put 0 to 500 volt DC on the mains AC, and on the 12 volt DC we put a 0 to 30 volts AC. But interestingly, that is working. But Brian's also ordered up a 0 to 30 volt DC for that one there. So yeah, they're both wrong. Schoolboy error there, but still all the hard work has been done, because the main work was making it fit, and you can see the gauge itself does look quite nice. So yeah, next time we're down we'll swap those two out for the proper ones. I thought that was funny that we managed to get them both wrong. But that is it for this video today. I hope you liked it. The Alexa's now working, so Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 5:59 p.m.
So it's nice now to have internet on the boat, and for me it's nice to have a change from just working at home over one of the mats. It's nice to have a bit of a change of scenery. So I might do another video on this boat in the near future. Maybe we'll get the battery charger working on that. Maybe we can get the correct gauges in here just to show you that working another time.
Forget about another day. Let's skip forward another few days and I'll show you the final result.
Quick update on the boat. It's a few days later now, and the correct gauges have been put in. You can see now AC voltage, and it's reading 250. That gauge is reading a little bit high, but I suppose the gauge isn't very high quality. And this one here is now DC, and this one is working both ways here. Now it looks like it's reading high. That's because we've changed over the battery charger on this one now, so it's more of a smart battery charger that you can connect up with Bluetooth. We had big trouble when we did the battery charger because this amp meter here wasn't working. So I want to show you the shunt, because you need a shunt for an amp meter. Also, the leak is no more. It has been raining and yet there's no leak, there's no water up here, and there's no nothing dripping through those holes there, so that's interesting. Also, when we came here today, these had stopped turning, but then they did kick off turning when the sun was out, so they definitely do rely on quite a bit of sun in order to turn, but they do turn on their own, but the sun needs to be out. Let me show you the battery charger. That lives down here. Right, so this was the big old one here, and although it does safely charge the batteries, apparently nowadays the technology is better. So these are very popular amongst many people who own boats, and it is a Victron Blue Smart charger. So that's it there, and basically the shunt thing is this thing going on down here. So on the old one, it looked like there was a black wire, a red wire and a black wire all connected together, but they were going through this little thing here, which is a shunt, and this one here is a 40 amp one. Apologies, you can't see very much. Let me lower the camera down. It's measuring across that, so it's quite clever really, because that to me looks so thick you wouldn't think it makes any difference, but that's what a shunt is. So we had to do all this wiring today. There wasn't really much to show in the camera here, but yeah, so that's it now. So it's all charging nice, and it monitors it here, and there's different stages. So we have like bulk, ABS, float and storage, so it's all very, very good. So overall, a successful mission. The only thing that wasn't successful is the lights. So remember I said that the battery light here wasn't working. It's not a bad connection or anything, it is the actual lights themselves. So this is quite clever. These are 240 volt, and there's a little resistor just in series with one of the wires here. I'll try to just show you a little bit of footage from that I filmed earlier. And basically all these lights here, most of them are not working. So this one's working, I think the top one is working, but all of the others are not working. So we did take one off from here which was working and put it on here, but even from moving it from here to here, it stopped working. So Brian's going to get 6 new 240 volt lights for here, and then all those will light up nice and bright, because you can see how dim it is compared to the 12 volt side. So yeah, really happy with the work that's gone on, and yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a massive thumbs up, and I'll see you all very soon. Thank you so much for watching.
Rusty red on her shoulder, I was cleaning her shoe when it clicked on the trot over in the bright morning dew. We brushed and we braided dandelions and chewed. It was a mutual arrangement we both saw into. Can she walk in the fire? Can she run in the rain? Can she make it up the mountainside? Can she make it down again? I have often wondered if she'll go and jump the fence. Will she keep on moving onward or stay in what could have been? Broke my